Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we're going to be talking about scout carry. Very, very simple. Obviously, you read the title. It's intriguing. That's the point of a good title, right? Kind of make you go, what's this all about? Well, I mean, it says it all right in the title. Scout carry is very dangerous, all right? So for this video, I just grabbed some random fixed blades, like literally random fixed blades. So we'll open these up so you can take a look at it. Look at this. This is from Pete, the Armory channel. Does custom sheaths for knives as well as holsters, of course. You can check them out. I got that done a little while back. And it's old Schrade. Look at this guy. Super cool. Double-edged. Alright, so I took these out of the sheaths here just so you have something to gawk at while I'm blabbing on here. So, before I can get into why scout carry is dangerous, we have to talk about fixed blades in general and how you carry them, right? So I'm going to use this one as an example. Very simple leather sheath. This is extremely common. In this particular case, we have a belt loop. All right, so your belt goes through that loop. And this one can only be carried in this vertical position. So if you're right-handed, and obviously this is set up for a right-handed user. If you're looking down on the right side of your body, this is how it would look. If you're looking at someone carrying this, this is what it would appear to be. It's just vertically positioned. You could pull the knife out, use it, push it back in, and that's it. This is the most common because it's least likely to fall out. Most people don't carry it upside down with no retention. It would probably just fall out. This just makes the most sense. This is the most common. However, you can also carry a lot of different knives, depending on the sheath style, horizontally, right? Horizontally is completely sideways. Now, the advantage to this is when you're sitting down, it doesn't dig into you. When it's vertical and you sit down, this can rub into the side of your body, especially if you're a bigger dude. When you carry it horizontally, it's just in line. It's a little easier. Also, if you have a first-person perspective, let's say this is on my right side, horizontal carry, I reach down, I pull the knife right out. All right, it goes front to back. That is a lot easier than going up and down, because if you notice my hand, when I put my hand straight out, right, it's just easier to grab that, all right, as opposed to when it's upright, you have to turn your hand and pull it out. Pulling out's not as hard as resheathing, all right. I think it's the same for guns as it is knives. It's just easier to take things out than to put them back in. Now, the reason that scout carry is inherently dangerous is because scout carry is a very specific way to carry a fixed blade. It is in a horizontal position on the lower back. Okay, now if you're looking at this is on someone's lower back. Let's just pretend that this drop forged cold steel knife here is your spine. This is right up against your spine. If you happen to be scout carrying and you fall down backwards and you have any kind of impact on your back, that is a very hard material, usually steel, right? Knives are made out of metal, and that pushes into your spine, and you get spinal injuries. This is very, very true in the case of police officers. You could see dozens and dozens and dozens of cases where police officers were paralyzed or had serious back injuries when they had fallen because they have a duty belt and they have multiple items on their back against their spine. All right, this is very apparent in law enforcement in general, but when you're talking about scout carry, those are usually not police officers or any military-related stuff at all. It's usually bushcrafters. Bushcrafters like that. Maybe you like the idea of scout carry because of the tactical advantage. You don't see the knife really, it's behind you, so you can reach, in your lower back and just, present a fairly large knife. So there is a tactical advantage in that sense, but that is the main reason why it is dangerous, because if you happen to take a fall, you do not want anything that's stiff or hard, specifically metal, against your spine. You are very likely to, crack a vertebrae, do something wrong, if not just full-on paralyze yourself. All right, it is bad news. So, it's bad news for the bushcrafters out there because it's a, preferred carry method. It's just kind of easy. It's out of the way. When you have something on the lower middle part of your back, you have nothing on the sides to, like, if you're going through bushes and stuff, it's nothing's catching your knife, it's scratching it or, hanging on to it or anything like that. So it's a favorable position for a lot of bushcrafters, but it's very, very, very important to know that it's possibly dangerous. It's not inherently dangerous. It's just, if you fall, most people don't fall every day, but if you do happen to fall and you fall backwards, or if something falls onto your back with that particular type of carry, you could get a spinal injury, which could be very, very serious and life-changing. So just a little word of warning, you know, I'm just putting the information out there because it's real and it's true. The likelihood that you watching this video who scout carry every day and have for 20 years and had no problems, knock on wood, I'm glad you never had a problem. I'm just letting you aware that there's a possibility if you ever fell backwards or had something fall on your back, that that could make it worse. It could enhance an injury or create an injury just by having it there. So just something to be aware of. So that's all. Of course, all your feedback down below. Again, it's the coulda, woulda, shouldas, the what ifs. There's a lot of what ifs in life. You know, a lot of people do things and avoid certain things because of what if, right? And people do the opposite. People go out of their way to do things because what if? Like, for example, carrying a gun. Carrying a gun is extremely inconvenient. It's very unlikely you're going to need your gun, but some people do it because what if I need it, right? Scout carry, not as important as carrying a gun in that sense. It's very unlikely you're going to fall and land on your back. With the example of a police officer, these people are doing physical activity. They're trying to apprehend people. Their likeliness of falling is far higher, I would say, than a bushcrafter hanging out in the woods, you know, making a campfire. But you just never know. That's all. The probability in law enforcement of falling on your back and, you know, having a spinal injury is way higher. The likeliness is way lower for knife enthusiasts and hobbyists and stuff. But I think it's important to get the information out there. If one person sees this and they were destined to fall on their back one day and they do fall on their back and their knife's on their side and they just get back up, cool. If it saved one spinal injury, it was worth taking 3-4 minutes out of my life to talk about it. So that's all. Spread the information because it is good just to know. And I'm curious, do you scout carry often? Some people, you know, I know maybe one person specifically who does it in their everyday life. They use a Kydex sheath with a smaller fixed blade, kind of a more defensive related, not woods, you know, it's not like this type of knife. It's more like this style of knife. And they use it just for defense because they like the positioning of it. Again, you have a little bit of a tactical advantage. It's hidden away. It's not seen. It's covered by a shirt. But they can use their offhand to lift up their shirt, you know, draw their knife, and there you go. They have a way to defend themselves. But anyway, like I said, if you do carry, I'd love to know in the comment section, scout carry, and because you saw this video, are you going to stop doing that? I'm, you know, just curious. But that's all. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have an awesome day. Let me know how you carry your fixed blades. My preferred method is mostly horizontal, but on my side. If I'm openly carrying and just doing testing, I like it vertical. It's just easier to fish it through a belt loop real quick. But like the days where, especially if there's places I go where I can't have my gun, I try to really load up on knives. And in that case, I probably carry more horizontally than I do vertically. And they're with shorter knives too. They're not like sticking out. But it is important to note that I did carry scout style years ago, and I literally read an article of a police officer breaking their back, and that's when it dawned on me, that's not a good idea. So I stopped. So that's all. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a good one. I'll see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.